Deputy Speaker, we must, as a matter of urgency, suspend standing orders and deal with this motion, because the earth and this country are indeed in the middle of a climate emergency. And the sooner we understand and acknowledge and declare a climate emergency, the sooner we can all get off our collective backsides and do something about it. Deputy Speaker, it's not that hard to declare a climate emergency. The New Zealand Parliament is expected to today declare a climate emergency. Already England, France, Germany, Spain, Sweden, Canada and Japan and countless other jurisdictions around the world have declared a climate emergency. Speaker, how much more evidence do we need that we have a climate emergency? How can we so quickly forget the shocking bushfires of last summer? How can we ignore the fact that the Bureau of Meteorology has declared the November just finished the hottest November on record? How can we ignore what might be ahead of us in this summer, whether it be more bushfires or shocking storms or hurricanes or who knows what else? It is undeniable that we have a climate emergency. Deputy Speaker, we've got to listen to the experts. For example, the Australian Medical Association has warned that at 3.4 to 4.4 degrees of warming, the consequences of climate change will be serious and direct and indirect, observed and projected health impacts globally and in Australia. The Royal Commission into Natural Disasters warned that climate-driven natural hazards are expected to become more frequent and intense. 90 atmospheric physicists, meteorologists and climate scientists from 40 countries have advised the world that this is the critical decade and that global emissions must be halved by 2030, or we risk spiralling into a chain reaction of natural disasters and feedback loops that will be beyond humanity's ability to control. Deputy Speaker, we've got to listen to the Bureau of Meteorology when they say 3.4 to 4.4 degrees of warming by the year 2100. That's only 80 years away. That will be in the lifetime of the children of members of this parliament, within the lifetime of people in primary school today. This is a real emergency. It's not something in the distant past. It's real and it's imminent. Deputy Speaker, after we've declared the climate emergency, we then need to get serious about dealing with it. This country has the know-how and the resources to deal with it. We have an abundance of renewable energy resources. We've got to use it. But we've got to have this country put on a credible pathway to zero net carbon emissions and 100% reliance on renewable energy. And not by 2050, by 2030, Deputy Speaker. Yes, that's bold and ambitious. Some people will say it's impossible. But let's go for it, Deputy Speaker. Let's set an example for the rest of the world. Let's show what one of the richest and brightest and most fortunate countries in the world can achieve when we put our mind to it and our shoulder to the wheel. We've got an abundance of solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, wave, tidal, clean hydrogen, hydro, pumped hydro, emerging technologies, things we haven't even discovered yet because we haven't tried to discover them. Deputy Speaker, there is an urgent need to suspend standing orders and to deal with this motion and for this parliament to debate and then to declare a climate emergency. Because as I said in my opening remarks, we can then get off our collective backsides and do something about it. We can help to clean up this environment, we can help to address climate change, and we can be a global leader in this space. And while we're at it, we can also be a leader in our region and help the countries in our region with increased foreign aid for them to deal with climate change and to prepare for the consequences of climate change. We've got to think about them as well. The people who live in the lowlands of Bangladesh, Indonesia, Vietnam, the microstates of the Pacific Islands, who are all going to have a terrible time within their lifetime because of the consequences of climate change. And we've got to be honest about climate change as well, Deputy Speaker, and stop kidding ourselves that just because we think we only contribute 1.5% of global emissions, that it's not that big a deal for us. What about all our exported emissions, which actually, when they're all added up, the captive emissions in our coal and our gas that we send to other countries, that we're actually contributing some 5% to global emissions. We are a major polluter. We have a moral obligation and an economic obligation to do something about it. Deputy Speaker, I'm honoured to second the motion by the member for Melbourne. And I urge the government, you didn't give leave for this to be debated, but why not get behind it now? Why not vote in support of this motion? Why not today declare a climate emergency? That's what a responsible government would do. That's what a government would do that is in tune with the will of the community. That's what we need. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.